Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be discussing something that's been on my mind for quite a long time. Who do we pick, Laird or Oliver? I'm not quite sure. There's a little bit to play out here. Or can you pick them both? Well, I've done a little bit of research and really dived right into it. So I've dissected the situation and I'll run you guys through what I reckon and as a result why I would choose Laird more. Before I get into this video, I just need to quickly address the elephant in the room. I probably sound a little bit different. I actually have a steel plate in my mouth. I'm getting braces very soon, so talking clearly is a very difficult task. So yeah, bear with me here. I'll do my best to get through it. I've got surgery on the 6th of March, so literally next Monday, and I'm getting about 9 teeth taken out. All my wisdoms, all my fangs, and I think another one. So yeah, it's a pretty hectic time for myself. I've been trying to make videos, but it can be quite difficult at times. I'll try to pump out another team update maybe on the Sunday before I do go into surgery, because if you think I sound bad now, I'll probably sound a lot worse throughout next week and upcoming to round 1 with 15 days left to go. But yeah, I'll do my best here. But yeah, anyway, Laird and Oliver, which is the better pick? Well, I definitely think Laird, and I'll explain why. So this is what I've come up with so far. I've decided to dive a little bit deep with this discussion in terms of who's the better pick. So I've kind of just sort of compared the pair a little bit. So Rory Laird just has Oliver in terms of average, 127.8, which is, look, there's nothing in that. Doesn't really count for too much, but look, just sort of shows Laird's consistency over last year. And keep in mind, his form early last year was pretty ordinary. So when I traded him in, he was very, very good for myself. 15% ownership, which is a little bit of a pod. When I first started doing this PowerPoint, I actually had it at about 12%. So people starting to jump on now. So yeah, for obvious reasons, he's a very nice candidate for our sides. He won't let you down. Where Oliver's ownership's actually sort of increased, I reckon. So 40%. So it's almost a pod move not to go there. Rory Laird, 13 games at Adelaide Oval, 125 average, which is still really solid, in addition to Clayton Oliver's 13 games at the MCG with 130 average. But Laird plays a lot of Adelaide Oval games early, so that's why I like the matchup there. 16 games over 115, not including a 114 last year in 2022 for Rory Laird, which is just so consistent. You can't really get much better than that. Bear with me here. It's bloody so hard to talk. I'm trying my best, but yeah, we'll keep going. So 14 games for Oliver over 115, not including a 113. So it's still really consistent, but Laird just 2 games above Oliver there. That's why I like it. The consistency is so nice. So Rory Laird's ceiling, it's not that high. So the highest score he had in 2022 was 156. I'm pretty sure that was against the Magpies at Adelaide Oval. He absolutely slaughtered them. I think he had 20 plus tackles in that game. So I wouldn't really be expecting that sort of ceiling again. That game kind of just come out of nowhere. I mean, when's a player going to get 20 tackles in a single game again? It's sort of unheard of. So I wouldn't really expect him to go that high. Where Oliver, this is the thing, he can absolutely bloody hurt you if you don't have him in your side. So 178 he had against North Melbourne. He just carved them up. I remember that game vividly. I didn't see him, and it was a pretty bad call. Should have had more common sense than that. He has a massive ceiling, and we know what he does against the Crows as well. So he does have those 150, 160 plus scores in him. Even has the ability to go 200 once a year. So that's sort of what's going to hurt you if you don't pick him. So you kind of want him to start off a bit sloppy, get a price change, and then you got to jump on ASAP. So Laird's lowest score is, in my opinion, absolutely elite. 93. That's his lowest score. 22 games, I'm pretty sure there was last year. For the Crows, that is staggeringly good. 93. That's about as consistent as you like. Where Clayton Oliver's lowest score is 68. So that's the sort of consistency. You see Laird, it's the ceiling's not as high, but the floor's not as low. With Oliver, the ceiling's a lot higher, but the floor is a lot lower. So that's 100% what you're comparing these blokes to, and that's what's going to decide who you actually want to go for. This is what sort of pulls me the most towards Laird. So his first 5 games, you've got GWS, Port Adelaide, Richmond, Freo, and Carlton. 127 average against these teams in 2022. I've got the average calculator out and I worked it out, and that's a really nice run. And 4 of the first 5 are Adelaide Oval as well. Already has 125 average. So I bloody love that early for Laird. As safe as House's captaincy option. Means we can take some risks with the VC. I really like the idea of VCing your Dunkleys and your bottom pally types early on a Thursday, Friday night. And you just got Laird to fall back on because just so consistent. Every week it's basically a 120 to 130. That's the ceiling that this guy has. Not as high as Clary's, but the consistency is just bloody beautiful, and that's what we love. But Clayton Oliver's first 5, Western Bulldogs, Brisbane, Sydney, West Coast, and Essendon. He doesn't really have the best record against the Bulldogs. I remember he had one good game in the last 3 outings, and it was in 2021, and it was absolutely pissing down there. So he had a lot of contested ball. It's usually Petrarca that has the good game against the Dogs. So that's sort of what's persuading me even more to Laird, is that first run is pretty shambolic, and at his price, he's going to absolutely plummet. If you look at the average of 118 against those teams in 2022, which are also worked out with the average calculator. So only 2 of the first 5 at the MCG for Clayton Oliver, which is nowhere near as good as Laird. Obviously, he has that 130 average at that venue, so it's one of those things you can't always be persuaded by history. What's stopping Oliver from just having a 130 average in the first 5 rounds? I'm not really sure. I don't see why not, but this is just sort of what I've been going off, and that's why I'm leaning even more towards Laird. And here's another thing. So I owned Laird last year, obviously, and he was, I think, by far the hardest person to trade in your team. I was a bit lucky because Jack Steele went down and it was an obvious sideways trade. But to get Laird in, I don't think at his price and what he sort of did late last year or sort of from round 6 onwards, he just went on an absolute run. And if he can consist to that, I think you're going to have to go 1 up, 1 down, but the 1 up would have to be like a Jacob Hopper type or a Callahan or one of those mid prices to get you to Laird. I don't think 1 up, 1 down with 2 rookies is going to cut it, because I just don't see how he could possibly get below 650k. So his lowest price in 2022 was 623k. Don't know what I'm reading there. Don't mind me. Only 9k under the starting price. So that just goes to show how bloody consistent this guy is, where Clayton Oliver's lowest price for 2022 was 633, and that is 39k under the starting price. So clearly you can get him in a lot cheaper, and Oliver had a seriously good season last year. So I genuinely think that it's sort of high risk, high reward versus genuine consistency. You know what you're going to get. So that's sort of what you're weighing up at the end of the day. So this is why I'm going to pick Laird over Oliver if I had to. I think, yes, more consistent and won't get tagged, has an easy draw. It's pretty straightforward. Why when I pick Oliver, will most likely drop below 600k at some point during the season anyway. The risky thing is he might not do that until round 8 when he missed out on all the good points. Maybe he goes on a run. I'm not sure. And the finger injury, the thumb injury, I'm not sure what it is, but I've heard a couple of rumours suggesting that he may not be over it. So this is the real question. Obviously, if you could pick one, I'd obviously pick Laird. That's a no-brainer for me. And I think a lot of people would agree with me at this time of the preseason. But I'm actually currently going to pick both. I've worked it out. I've got some sort of dicey structure that I've decided to go with. I'll do a team update very, very soon. And I have both of these guys in my team because I just can't split them. I like Laird more, but I think Oliver has the ability to just make you pay. So it sort of comes down to that, and I just don't want to miss out. I'm happy to take the fall financially with these guys at their starting price, but have the 2 best VC and C options all year. It'll be the easiest thing to do is just VC Oliver for Laird. Maybe not round 1 because Oliver does seem to struggle against the Bulldogs, but every other week this year I think I'm going to be doing that. But I haven't quite decided. I'm about 80% sure that I want to pick them both, but things could possibly change. But look, I hope this video gave you guys a little bit of an idea of what you're sort of comparing them to, scoring wise, price wise, etc. So yeah, just consistency versus high risk, high reward. But there's plenty of reward with Oliver, and I still think he's a genuine, spectacular pick. And I don't see why you can't pick both, as long as you don't bleed too much in the rookie area. I've got a lot of mid-price madness, so I've sort of made it work a little bit. But look, we'll see how we go. Once again, I do really apologise for the minor lisp that I might have. I don't know how noticeable it is in a podcast format. I don't know what I sound like half the time, but I'm just going to have to deal with it. I'm trying my best to talk as clearly as possible, and I hope it didn't really affect you guys too much. But I'll end it there, guys. Take it easy. I hope you enjoyed the different video for myself. Let me know if you want me to do more of these. Yeah, look after yourselves, and as always, we'll see you guys in the next video.